I'm Sonia, Joseph Rosenwirth's daughter. On behalf of my brother Peter, his wife Susie, and my husband Wayne, I welcome you here today to say farewell to our dad, Joseph Rosenwirth. How can I sum up 105 years of life? I would say that he was courageous, passionate, brilliant, and fun-loving, a gentleman. I have written a few articles about our dad to share his story, none of which can capture all the triumphs and hardships that he has endured. Perhaps you've known him for many years, or read about him, or seen his trophies, or the many photos of his life throughout the years. You all probably have great stories, funny stories, to share about him yourselves. He touched so many lives with his wit and his kindness. Our dad's life had many hardships, but he always managed to recalibrate himself and get going again. As a successful business owner in Yugoslavia, he was targeted to be part of the budding communist majority. His refusal cost him his business and his freedom. He endured 6 months as a prisoner, watching many lose their lives and not knowing if he would ever see his wife Maria and his 2 young sons, Peter and Joshka, ever again. Luckily, he was deemed useful to his captors, and they spared his life. Shortly after getting out of prison, he, my mom, and my 2 brothers had to leave their beloved life in Slovenia behind and escape to Italy. My brother Peter recalls when he first thought our dad was superhuman. It was in Italy. It was Easter, and the family was walking home from church past a big farmer's field. A young worker had accidentally backed his tractor over another man who was lying on the ground. The driver had panicked and jumped off the tractor as it kept rolling over the pinned man. Somehow, our father jumped the fence and ran across the freshly plowed field to the middle of the accident scene. He jumped up on the tractor, and pushed it in forward. The man's legs were crushed, and somehow our father carried the bleeding man back across the field to the road. He flagged down the first car that came along, a little VW bug, and he convinced the driver to take the dying man to the hospital. My dad could be very convincing from forever. My mother and dad, in their Sunday best, sat in the back of the car, and the injured man was laid across their laps. Joseph gave directions. They sped the mortally wounded man to the hospital. The hospital managed to save his legs, and he miraculously recovered with only a limp. In the years after, the man graciously delivered a fattened chicken to our parents every Christmas to thank them for saving his life. My father, in turn, became a local hero, and they were held in high esteem by the Italian townfolk. All the time in Italy, he hoped to return to Slovenia, but it was an impossibility at that time, and the young family had to leave Europe to start a new life in Canada. How brave they were to come to a land where they had no family ties, did not know the language, and had no place to live. This is a story that is repeated throughout our community and many others, and is part of all our lives, whether it was our parents, our grandparents, or ourselves. Peter and I call him Ati. For those of you who don't know what Ati means, it's daddy in Slovenian. He was a wonderful Ati to us. There's no one in this world that was more supportive and proud of every one of our accomplishments in life. No one celebrated and was happier for every good little thing that came our way. He was our defender against anything that hurt us. He celebrated us, elevated our senses. He was our best friend. Ati was so full of life, and he lived it so well. He could always be counted on to lend a hand, to stand up for you, to give advice, or to listen to you. He loved to celebrate, and we indulged him with more birthday parties than anyone I know. He enjoyed great food. We danced, we laughed. Everyone will always remember his heartfelt laughter and the glee in his smile when he saw you. He loved to make you laugh and smile. Our Ati was a teacher. He was generous with his knowledge and his skills to everyone. Many here today got their best lessons for driving and auto mechanics from our Ati. As you all know, he had an unsurpassed passion for Mercedes-Benz. His relationship with Mercedes started very early in the 1930s when he studied in their facility in Stuttgart, Germany. We would say that this was his biggest love. Sorry, Peter. Sorry, Mom Yoshko. We knew this from a very young age. When I was about 3, sitting on his lap on our front stair, he started my Mercedes training. I got a silver dollar for every Mercedes that I could identify when they drove by. I got the hang of this pretty quick, and it covered all my bases, pointing at every car that went by, saying it was Mercedes. I don't know how many dollars I earned, but that star emblem was permanently ingrained in my psyche. Others understood his passion, and he got the nickname Mr. Mercedes. Although he retired from the company in 1977, he bought, sold, worked on, trained others, and drove his beloved Mercedes sedans until he was 98 years old. Many here today learned from him, and many more brought his cars to his garage, his man cave, to have him doctor their ailing motors. Their garage was where he did his best work, fixing all those engines, but mostly cementing close relationship with his many great friends that are here today. The drawers in his garage file cabinet had tools of his trade, but they were also where he had his mini bar, so he could share a drink and have a laugh with his buddies. The last 6 years Ati lived at Dom Lipa. We believe that the care that he had there contributed greatly to his longevity. The fact that so many of his friends could visit him and spend time with him there made his time there quite happy. We never thought that he would live to the age of 105, almost 105 and a half. Over the past couple of years, his health declined, and he kept repeating the same questions to me. Has God forgotten about me? When can I go? I would reply and say, go where? It's not time yet. On Monday, February 20th, at 5:09, it was his time. Sorry. As I held him and told him to look, they're ready for you. They're waiting. All those that have gone before you. My mom, my brother Yoshko, and so many friends and family. He opened his beautiful blue eyes, saw that it was true, smiled one last time, and took his last breath. His time had come. Lakonochati, our dad, our superhero, our friend, our inspiration. Shibomokmal, vidliv the Besach. Thank you all for coming today to bid farewell to our Ati.
Arctic response. Okay. Bye-bye.